A single horn splits the pre-dawn air at Shanghai Pass. Wind drags sand across stone. A gate the size of a ship shutters on iron pins. One decision will turn a wall into a doorway, and an empire into an echo. They thought the Great Wall was the ultimate keep-out sign. But what if it was really a machine for forcing leaders into choices they could never undo? This channel retells the moments that changed the world, minute by minute, hour by hour, and explains why they happened. In this video, you'll watch the Great Wall's most fateful day unfold nearly minute by minute, and you'll see why the real cause behind this impossible monument is not the one repeated in textbooks. Zoom in on a map. Northeast China, where mountains tumble into the Bohai Sea. Here the wall doesn't simply wander across ridgelines. It clamps them. The place is Shanghai Pass, Mountain Sea Pass, the narrow throat between the frontier and the heartland. Three forces are converging. The Ming dynasty, exhausted and broke. A rebel army inside the country, moving like fire. And Manchu riders outside the border, waiting in cold discipline. Underneath it all is an arms race between speed and stone, horse and brick. Now, rewind fast. The Great Wall is not one wall. It is layers of decisions spanning more than 2,000 years. Early walls were tamped earth, pounded into molds until they rang like hard clay. Qin unification stitched fragments together with forced labor and fear. Later dynasties repaired, abandoned, and rebuilt as threats shifted. By the Ming, the wall becomes what most cameras chase. Brick faces, stone cores, watchtowers, battlements designed for gunpowder. The myth says it was built to stop invaders. The truth is it bought time. We drop back into 1644. Beijing is starving. Grain routes falter. Silver dries up. Soldiers go unpaid. Drought and cold tighten across the north like a clenched fist. Bandits become rebels. One rebel leader, Li Zicheng, is now a storm with banners. The Ming general guarding Shanghai Pass is Wu Sangawei. He holds the key between rebels inside and Manchus outside. He has hours, not weeks. Timeline overlay, 040. Before sunrise, beacon towers along the wall cough smoke. Thin, urgent fingers. One column means enemy sighted. 2 means approaching. 3 means large force. The wall is a nervous system, and this is the first twitch. Wu wakes to the signal and to the silence after it. No drums yet. No screams. Just the awareness that both sides are moving. 210. Lanterns crawl along the parapet. Officers whisper numbers that don't add up. On paper, Wu has a fortress. In reality, he has hungry men and empty wagons. Micro reveal. The wall's strength is not its height. It's its supply lines. Without food, stone is just scenery. 3:30. A scout returns, breath steaming, eyes wide. Beijing has fallen. The Chongjin emperor is dead by his own hand, according to the message. The Ming court collapses in a night. Wu's oath suddenly has no throne to protect. The wall behind him becomes a border without a country. And in that vacuum, every officer becomes a judge. 5:12. In the gray light, Li Zicheng's vanguard appears in the valley, a dark river with flags. They do not charge the wall. They don't need to. They surround the roads, cut off movement, and send a letter. Safety, rank, a future. A deal written in ink instead of blood. Wu reads it slowly. Micro reveal. The Great Wall's weakest point is always a gate, because gates are where humans negotiate. 6 o'clock, cut outside the frontier. In the Manchu camp, horses snort, tack creaks, steel rings softly. The Regent Dorgan studies his reports. He knows Wu is trapped between surrender and annihilation. He also knows a secret the wall can't hide. The Ming built these fortifications to funnel attackers into predictable corridors. Predictability is a weapon, if you control the timing. 8:20. Wu's advisors argue in a cramped room that smells of sweat and ink. One says join the rebels. They already hold the capital. Another says fight. The pass can hold for days. A third says the unthinkable. Invite the Manchus in as allies. Wu runs his hand along a brick. Beneath the brick is rammed earth. Between them is lime mortar that sets like bone. In some Ming sections, engineers mix sticky rice into the mortar, a natural glue that resists water. Science baked into survival. Yet none of it answers who gets through. 10:05. The first real fighting. Arrows hiss. Matchlocks crack. Rebels probe the outer works. Wu's men answer from crenellations. The wall throws the sound back in echoes, like it is counting down. Micro reveal. Most deaths linked to the wall are not from climbing it. They're from siege, exposure, and hunger. The slow disasters that never make paintings. 12 o'clock noon. Heat shimmers on stone. A rebel messenger is turned away. Wu counts sacks, not slogans. Li counts tens of thousands, not mercy. Beyond the pass, Watchtowers spot movement again. Smoke rises. 2 columns. Approaching. 1440. Wu makes the choice that will haunt maps. He orders the gate prepared, not to open to Li, but outward to the Manchus. Hinges are greased. Bars are tested. Everyone understands. The wall will do the one thing it was never meant to do. It will let an outside army flow into China. 1610, dust clouds. Manchu cavalry arrives beyond the gate. Horses stamp. Armor whispers. Wu meets Dorgan between lines of spears. No handshake. Only a look that says, we both know this cannot be reversed. Micro reveal. Crisis alliances aren't friendships. They're physics. Pressure finding a seam. 1830. The rebels attack harder, sensing the shift. Drums pound. Ladders rise. Fires bloom in the lower town. Civilians run with bundles, faces gray. The wall holds against the force outside it. But the catastrophe is already inside. A dynasty has died, and the vacuum is pulling everyone toward collapse. 2005, sunset. The defining moment. The gate opens. Not wide at first, just a crack of darkness. Then a widening blade of light. Iron groans. Wood complains. Then hooves strike stone like rapid gunfire. Manchu riders pour through. Timeline flashes. 20:07. 20:09. 2012. Each minute, more banners, more certainty. Wu's soldiers stare, numb. They are still defending the pass. Yet they are also surrendering the future. 2130. Battle in the plains. This is where mobility beats mass. Cavalry arcs, feints, breaks lines, reforms. Rebels, exhausted from taking Beijing, buckle. The wall behind them becomes a trap, a cliff they cannot climb, a funnel forcing them into a kill zone. The monument built to stop outsiders now stops insiders from escaping. By midnight, Li Zicheng retreats. Shanhai Pass is secure, but the cost is not counted in bodies alone. Here is the Vera Storia, the true story behind the Great Wall. It was never a magic barrier. It was a control system. It let the state see threats early, concentrate troops fast, and force enemies into corridors where defenders could choose the terms of contact. It bought decision time, and when the decision was desperate, the wall magnified the consequences. Now, rewind the misunderstandings. First, it was built in one dynasty. Reality. It is a palimpsest, rebuilt whenever the math of threat and resources changed. Second, it kept China isolated. Reality, trade, diplomacy, and migration moved through passes like Shanhai, Juyong, and Jiayu. The wall didn't end contact, it organized it. Third, it was purely defensive. Reality, it also marked administration, where patrols started, where taxes were enforced, where laws shifted from internal to frontier rules. Think of it like a dam. A dam doesn't erase water. It redirects it, stores it, releases it, sometimes catastrophically when the gates open at the wrong moment. The Great Wall was a dam for people on the move. It slowed raids and signaled danger, but it could not fix drought, bankrupt treasuries, or political fracture. When the Ming reservoir of trust cracked, the wall could only channel the flood. The consequences ripple outward. For people, the opening at Shanhai accelerates a new dynasty. The Qing, ruled by Manchus, will govern for nearly 3 centuries. For engineering, the Ming Wall becomes the frontier template. Parapet sized for firearms, beacon code standardized, brick kilns and quarries run like supply factories. For law and procedure, the frontier tightens, new garrisons, travel permits, and patrol zones, because the lesson is brutal. If you can't control the gate, you can't control the future. Micro reveal, wall was built by hands, not legend. And the afterglow lingers. Walk the wall today. Hear tourists laugh. Hear cameras click. Hear the wind do what it has always done. The bricks feel permanent. But the Great Wall's real power was never permanence. It was the way it turned time into a weapon, and choices into history. One gate, one evening, a single groan of iron. The wall didn't fall. It opened. Next time, we follow another unbreakable monument, until a hidden signal, a small mistake, and 5 minutes of delay make the impossible collapse.